Okay, this is on the review, problem 85. It says use half angle formulas to find the exact values of the sine, cosine, and tangent of 19 pi twelfths. So what I did was I took 19 pi twelfths and times it by 2, and that gives me 19 pi 6. So that means that 19 pi 6, which pi 6, think about, pi twelfths isn't a value on the unit circle. Increments of pi halves, pi thirds, pi fourths, and pi sixths, those are the values we want because that's on our unit circle. So if we were to take 19 pi twelfths and times by 2, that would give us 19 pi 6. So now using that to do half angle formulas, 19 pi 6 divided by 2. See, I'm cutting this in half. That's why it's a half angle formula. If you were to flip this and multiply, we'd end up back at 19 pi twelfths. So this means that this is our U value. So if we look at our half angle formulas and we are at the sine, oopsies. If we want to know what's sine, I'm going to sit down right here real quick. Okay, so sine of U, which is 19 pi 6, divided by 2, that's equal to the formula plus or minus. We will decide on the sign in a moment. And we have the square root of 1 minus the cosine at 19 pi 6. That's writing really small. Hopefully you can see it, all over 2. So if we were to simplify the inside here, the cosine at 19 pi 6, first of all, figure out where 19 pi 6 is. So it took me a second. I drew out a unit circle here and I said, here's 0, here's 1 pi 6. So that's this distance here. That's 1 pi 6. I could have counted 2 pi 6, 3 pi 6, 4 pi 6, 5 pi 6, 6 pi 6, and so on and gone around. Because right here would have been 6 pi 6, you know. If you could go that, you'd figure out where 19 pi 6 is. So I was able to say, well, jump to the fact that if this is 3 pi, then what divided by 6 is 3, 18. So I knew that this position right here was 18 pi 6. So I want to go one more to 19 pi 6. If that confuses you, just count your way around until you get to 19 pi 6 in distance. That puts you here at this 15 degrees below this line right here. So that gives you this point, negative root 3 over 2, comma, negative 1/2. So then this is cosine, this is our cosine, this is our sine. So our cosine is negative root 3 over 2. So then we have the square root of 1 minus the cosine at 19 pi halves is negative root 3 over 2. That's divided by 2. So let's now simplify that. We have the square root of 1 plus root 3 over 2 divided by 2. Let's get a common denominator here. So if we were to get a common denominator here, this would be over 1. We times by 2, times by 2. So we'd have the square root of 2 plus root 3 over 2 divided by 2. Flip and multiply. We would get the square root of, hopefully you can still see this in my video. I can't see. Yep, we're doing good. So then we have the square root of 2 plus the square root of 3 all over 4, which now can be split up. So on top we'd have the square root of 2 plus the square root of 3 all over 2. That would be the exact value for sine. And then let's see here. So if this is, should it be plus or minus? So in my mind, if we're in this quadrant here, we're trying to find this exact value, the sign is going to be negative. So I'm thinking we're going to throw a negative in front. So yes, that's what that would be here. All right. Let's go ahead and do now, oh wait, actually let's think about this. 19 pi twelfths. Yeah, 19 pi twelfths. Where would that be? In which quadrant? Yeah. We're doing good. Okay. All right. Continuing. So with cosine, I don't really have a ton of room. So I'm going to do cosine now. So cosine is just going to be, it's the same formula. If you'll notice, it's just an addition. It's an addition sign in here. And then this would have been minus, this would have been, right, remember it was negative. So it would have been a minus sign because it would have been plus minus. So then cosine would have been also negative. And that would have been the square root of 2 minus root 3 all over 2 because the algebra would have worked out the same. So then from here, if we look at this, we could now do tangent. I feel like it's just sometimes easier to use the formula, to be honest. So if we were to do that, if we were to use the formula, okay, so here's our sine, here's our cosine, our tangent. I'm going to do the formula of 1 minus cosine of x, cosine of 19 pi 6. Then all over sine of 19 pi 6. So then from there, okay, so then from there, we would have the following. This cosine at 19 pi 6, this would have been 1 minus negative root 3 over 2 divided by negative 1/2. So then from there, that would have been 1 plus root 3 over 2 divided by 1/2. So then common denominator, sorry, I'm trying to write so small, it's kind of making me confused, to be honest. 2 plus root 3 over 2 divided by 3 over 2 divided by negative 1/2, flip and multiply, times by 2 over negative 1. So then from there, we would multiply straight across. Your 2's would divide out, so that'd been negative 2 minus root 3. So my thing is now, with tangent, is it, once again, is it plus or minus? Do we need to worry about that? In my opinion, if these are both negative, it should have been positive, which it's negative. So I'm trying to decide if I'm not thinking about something. I'm as rusty as can be right now because of this quarantine, guys. I'm thinking, let's think about where pi 12ths is. So pi 12ths is right here at this 15 degrees, because think about it, pi 6, half of that is pi 12ths, so 30 degrees, half of that is 15 degrees. So it has to do with that. Where in the heck would 19 pi 12ths fall? Like, which quadrant? Basically, which quadrant is 19 pi 12ths in? And that's going to help you make sure your signs are correct. So I'm not going to spend any more time on this video. Just go through and figure out which quadrant that would be in. So if 15 degrees is 1 pi 12ths, where on the unit circle would we be at 19 of those? 19 pi 12ths. So think about that.